Nikhil, I'm informed that you were also in this special aircraft with with the special team. How's been the mood like? Everyone happy to return, including you?
Well, that's right, Pooja. We hear what you're seeing on your screens right now. I don't know how clear the visuals are, but what you're seeing on your screens right now, I'm actually at the baggage belt, and right now the entire luggage of the Indian team is being unloaded. You can see, and that's a massive bit of luggage that they have. Let me show you some visuals up much closer. This is what you're going to be witnessing. This is uh, the team that just arrived. I was on the same flight at the time,
Yeah.
and now, as you can see, they're all being offloaded from the aircraft. These are the team members that are offloading the luggage, and the team has now been whisked away by the CISF. They've actually now moved to a different place from there, from where they will exit from the
Did
VIP
you think
exit
everything
area.
was, smooth as butter, the protocol procedure for the team?
It was. See, you have to realize that the team was stuck for about 4 days, and that's
Yes.
unprecedented. Usually, the team winning, they are back in their homeland the very next day. But this time, what has happened because of the Hurricane Beryl that was there in Barbados, they were stuck for 3 days after winning that title. And kudos to the authorities, the BCCI, that were trying to find a way out for the Indian team to ensure that they could be brought back safely. And that's what is done. I've sent a few visuals that might be up on your screens right now because there was a loud cheer as soon as the aircraft landed. Remember, it was a direct 16-hour long flight. There is no direct flight connecting Barbados to Delhi, but this was a
Okay.
special Air India flight that was organized, and we were all on that flight. The players looked in a very relaxed mood during the entire flight. They were they did speak to us, though we were not allowed to film at that moment. They did speak to us. They felt really relaxed. The trophy was actually taken around inside the entire aircraft, and this is something that will make a lot of people jealous. I had the pleasure of actually holding the trophy in my hand.
Wow.
The team was gracious enough to hand it over and allow you to hold it for a few seconds. And I can't really express that feeling in words. And we did get to experience that in that 16-hour long journey that we had. The players also rested up a bit because they have a very busy day ahead. As you know, that they're going to be meeting dignitaries, including the Prime Minister today in Delhi. And in the evening, they have a special flight where they go to Mumbai and have that open bus parade. So it's going to be a very busy next 18, 20 hours for the team. Right now, they will, as we speak, they may be getting out of the airport. And from here, they're going to be heading directly to the hotel. They are booked in a five-star hotel in New Delhi, and from there they will then be taken to meet the Prime Minister, to meet the President. So that is what is expected to happen. We're still at the airport, and we came via the usual exit, but the team has been taken away from the VIP exit. I must tell you, I don't know if you still have that visual. I have shot a few visuals. When we came out of the aircraft, the entire airport crew was there. So, you usually have the ground staff, the people, the baggage
Yes.
collectors and all that you can see from the top. All the baggage collectors of all the gate had accumulated to the baggage area of the Air India flight, because everyone knew that this was the flight for the Indian team, and they were taking pictures from below the tarmac. And while we were walking from the aero bridge, they were taking pictures of the Indian team from below the tarmac. As soon as they walked out, there was a huge Air India staff, lots of airport authority personnel, and a lot of people that were waiting there or that had come from various other flights. They waited at the gate from where the Indian team was going to come out because this was expected.
It's
And,
a, it's a moment of smiles, Nikhil, that the country has got. Nikhil, tell me this. In the aircraft, because it's a long flight, was there a lot of sleeping and rest to catch up to? Or from the little snippet I get, they couldn't get enough of the trophy, clearly.
no, they certainly could not get enough of the trophy, and I'm not surprised because see, also I did speak to a few of them, and they were very eager to get back to India because the euphoria. This final happened on the 29th, and as we
Correct.
speak, we're here 4 days later. So it's been a long time, and they were wondering, and they were asking us that whether the euphoria is there in India or not. And I did mention to a few players, I said, listen, you'll be in for a surprise. Don't think it's died down. As soon as you land, apart from the 50 to 100 media cameras that you will see, you will also see fans line up. But they said, we're reaching there at 6 a.m. And I said, you'd be surprised. And exactly how it panned out. There was a loud cheer by the people working in the airport as soon as they landed. I am told that outside as well, there are multiple people that have lined up. And yes, talking about the flight, they were resting for most of the time, but they did come out because it was a 16-hour long flight. They did come out, speak to a lot of us because we journalists were also in the flight. There was the rest of the support staff, and they were in a very relaxed, mood. Again, this was also a great time to reflect back at that final, and I did end up speaking to a few of them about the final. I remember talking to Hardik Pandya about what was going through his mind that final over. What is it that he was thinking? And he said, no, I believed in myself, because I told him that, I was sitting there in the press box and I was getting nervous. I can't believe how he held on to the nerves. And he explained to me his process. He said, I always knew. He said, see, my attitude has always been that you have to take such opportunities. If you're eager to take these opportunities, only then will you perform. If you start thinking about pressure, then you will end up not performing on that situation. So he says, it was my chance to be a hero and I wanted to grab that opportunity.
This was who? Nikhil?
Hardik Pandya.
Hardik. Okay. Yes. Of course, expectedly.
Who bowled the final over. In fact, he also, his penultimate over of the match is the one that actually turned that final. Henrik Klaasen was in outstanding form. And as soon as India get the wicket of Henrik Klaasen, off a delivery bowled by Hardik Pandya, the game completely changes. At that stage, they need something like 26 of 24, if I'm not mistaken, and that seemed like a cakewalk.
Nikhil, stay Hardik on with me, because Harshit also is joining us. Harshit, take a question and if a point discussion with Nikhil, because it is a fact. I think the team, the whole issue, as Nikhil is telling us, was about having that presence of mind and holding on to the nerve. If in our homes there was so much tension in the family, can only imagine someone who's on the pitch. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Nikhil, just the one thing that I want to ask from you, since you were there traveling with the Indian team, as a journalist, to be, first covering a special tournament and then be coming back home with the Indian team, special feeling, right?
It absolutely was, Harshit. I think this has been more than a memorable tournament. One, the fact that India won. Secondly, you get to actually fly in that same aircraft and then rub shoulders with those world champions and actually get to speak to them in that casual environment. And that is exactly what we were talking about. Rohit Sharma spoke to us for a very long time. And one thing that will stay with me, which he mentioned, he said somewhere it was there in the destiny. He spoke about that 50-over World Cup and he said, I thought we played better there, but it wasn't to be on that day. This final, we were in a situation where we could have very well lost it, but somehow, by the grace of God, that comeback that India makes to win the final. So he felt that this was destined to be. Arshdeep Singh, we spoke to, Rishabh Pant, all of them in a very relaxed environment at that time that you got a chance to. And, somehow, and it rubs off somehow. And Yuzi Chahal, I remember speaking to him and I said, you guys did well. I'm so happy you are world champions. And he corrected me. He said, don't say you guys are world champion. You are world champions too. India are world champion. And that was, I think, a fantastic gesture. He said, it's not just our win, it is India's win. So we are not world champions. You are world champions. Every other Indian who dons that blue jersey supporting the Indian team is a world champion. And that's the kind of sentiment that we felt in our 16-hour-long journey with the Indian team.
What an incredible memory for you also here on Nikhil to remember. A lot of snippets to discuss. I hope you take notes, remember all of it, document it somewhere. But what a brilliant conversation to have. A lot of anecdotes.
I'm going to save that, Pooja, for my memoir when I retire. The memoir that I will write, all of this is going to go there.
Absolutely. I hope there will be some very interesting secret snippets that readers will love eventually to have gone up.
Or should we, Nikhil, expect another book on this?
Yes.
Yeah, I did write about the 83 World Cup. And I think now that I've witnessed this World Cup so up close and personal, I think it will make for a great time. Right now, as you imagine, the players are tired and so are we. We had like a 4-week-long tournament. Traveling was very tough. And now even getting here, the players were anxious and so were we because all our flights were cancelled. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the BCCI because we were stranded. And we sent an SOS message out to the BCCI and they said, worry not. The BCCI Secretary Jay Shah ensured that all the media that was there, there were about 20 people, they were accommodated on this flight and brought back directly here. Because as I found out from a lot of Indian fans that were stuck there were no flights available for the next 3-4 days to get out of Barbados. And even if we were to do that, we had to come via US. or the UK. There wouldn't have been any direct flight. So in that sense, I mean, it's a memorable tournament. Really tired now after 4 weeks of covering this really high intensity tournament. But yeah, a month later, when you have time to reflect, maybe another book
That's
is
true.
on its way.
In hindsight, you'll start to think all the memories you've made. I understand and I can see, Nikhil, you're still stuck inside the airport, but I'll hold on to you just for a few more minutes.
Yes.
Because what is the latest?
Yes.
I'm told that the team has left. They are on their way to ITC Moria, Harshit.
That's right. That's
Nikhil, also tell me this, that, when you
Yeah.
spend such a long time, and this is the height of your special portfolio profile when you cover, what do you take from this? Is it the fans? Is it the team's energy, team's presence of mind? Because this history as much today is about celebration. But do you think how has Indian cricket team registered in the mind of the world and its fans?
Well, they by far are the best team in the world. I think that's how it registered. I think the best way to gauge that is when you speak to neutral fans, because we had an extra 2-3 days to spend in Barbados. Speaking to a lot of West Indian fans, I could see the kind of respect that they had for us being Indian because of how our team performed. So at the end of the day, they'd say that India is by far the best team in the tournament. Remember, they were also the best team in the last World Cup in the 50-over format and lost that final. So all of that realization is there, and my heart swells with pride when I hear that kind of respect being given to us from the opposition camp, from the neutral fans, and that's all down to how the Indian team performed. So that's my one big takeaway. Overall, I think this team has done so well. That final step was missing of not winning a trophy. I think now I was next to me on the flight was former India cricketer Ambati Raidu, who was there as commentator, and he said a very interesting thing. He said, "Now watch out, this team, the way they are playing and the kind of camaraderie that they have, this team is going to go and win lots more tournaments. This is a team that will end up winning a few more trophies. You have the WTC final very shortly. You have the Champions Trophy very shortly." And he says that this team is going to be winning a lot more trophies. So that's my big takeaway.